The sprawling starport of the United Galactic Defense Forces, UGDF, shimmered under the light of 1,000 suns. Ships of every imaginable shape and size docked in perfect alignment, their engines humming in low, steady tones. Aliens from dozens of planets walked across the polished corridors, exchanging greetings, strategies, and stories of previous battles. Among them, one small figure stood out, not for her size or strength, but for her human persistence. Lieutenant Aria Kane walked with her head held high, despite feeling very much like an outsider. Her shoulders were narrower than most recruits, and her legs shorter than many of the taller aliens, yet she carried herself with quiet confidence. Her eyes, sharp and observant, scanned the academy as if calculating every movement, every risk. It was her first day at the UGDF Academy, the most prestigious military training ground in the galaxy. Humans were rare here. Many species had evolved with natural advantages, speed, strength, size, or heightened senses, that made humans seem fragile by comparison. Aria had heard the whispers even before arriving. She's human? She won't last a week. And yet, she was determined. As she walked into the training hall, the other recruits couldn't help but notice her. A tall, four-armed species called Xylar leaned against the wall, smirking. "Look at her," he said to his companion, a reptilian warrior named Kethar. "She's barely taller than a child, and she thinks she belongs here?" Kethar hissed in agreement, his forked tongue flicking in amusement. "Watch, she'll break before breakfast. Humans are weak." Aria ignored them, though she could feel their eyes on her. She knew she didn't have their strength or reflexes, but she had something no one else seemed to recognize: intuition. Humans might be small, but humans could observe, think, and adapt in ways many larger species could not. Her first training session was physical. The instructor, a towering insectoid named Commander Ral, called out drills and challenges. Recruits leapt over obstacles, climbed walls, and raced through courses designed to test speed, strength, and agility. Aria started cautiously. She stumbled on the first hurdle, and some of the aliens snickered. She bit her lip, steadying herself. By the end of the first run, she had fallen twice and lagged behind the fastest recruits. Her muscles ached, her lungs burned, but she refused to give up. "Keep going, Lieutenant Kane," Commander Ral barked. "Observe, adapt, survive. That is what the UGDF requires." Aria nodded, understanding that survival was more than brute strength. She watched her peers carefully, noting how they moved, how they relied on raw power rather than precision. She began to adjust her movements, using timing and balance to navigate obstacles more efficiently. The first week passed in a blur of drills, simulations, and lessons in strategy. While the aliens grew stronger physically, Aria grew stronger mentally. She noticed small patterns: the way a Xylar's extra limbs sometimes slowed him in tight spaces, the predictable way Kethar lunged too early in simulated combat. Humans were slower, yes, but humans could think ahead. Humans could learn quickly. Then came the Predator Simulation Test, the most feared exercise at the Academy. A holographic apex predator would be released into a controlled environment, and recruits had to survive its attacks while trying to subdue it. Many species had failed this test, sometimes multiple times. The hologram flickered to life, revealing a massive beast with glowing eyes, serrated claws, and teeth like jagged crystal. It moved with perfect balance, calculating every step, and attacked without warning. The alien recruits reacted immediately, charging at it with full force. Some wielded energy weapons, others used their natural strength. Chaos erupted as the predator adapted to every move, evading attacks, striking with precision, and forcing them to retreat repeatedly. Aria hesitated. She didn't rush in. Instead, she crouched low, studying its movements. She noticed how it paused briefly before each strike. The slight twitch in its tail before a lunge, the way it tilted its head when confused. Slowly, carefully, she stepped forward. She didn't strike. It was clear the predator was too strong for a direct attack. Instead, she mirrored its movements, moving in harmony with it rather than against it. The beast paused, surprised by this unusual behavior. Minutes passed, and the instructor's eyes widened. The predator began to respond to Arya's subtle gestures, slowing its attacks, almost hesitating. By the end of the exercise, Arya had not only survived, but had led the holographic predator into a containment trap, a feat no alien recruit had managed. The hall was silent for a moment. Then some recruits muttered under their breath. Commander Rail, for the first time, looked impressed. "Human intuition. Remarkable," he said. "Lieutenant Kane demonstrates what strength alone cannot achieve." Despite this success, not everyone respected her yet. Xylar crossed his arms, grumbling, "Beginner's luck. That's all. Wait until the real predators arrive." Arya didn't argue. She knew this was only the beginning. The next days were filled with lectures and strategy exercises. Humans were often underestimated, but Arya used every opportunity to prove herself, not with sheer power, but with observation, timing, and empathy. She noticed things others missed, subtle changes in an opponent's posture, the tiniest shifts in terrain, even the unspoken communication between creatures. One afternoon, while walking across the Academy's central courtyard, she overheard a group of alien recruits discussing her again. "She might survive a week," Kethar said quietly. "But she'll never lead. Humans are too fragile. They can't command anything strong, especially not the apex predators." Arya paused, considering their words. She knew that someday she would have to face a real predator, not a simulation. And when that day came, she intended to prove that humans were more than their physical limitations. Her chance came sooner than expected. Commander Ral called the recruits into the main arena. A massive enclosure opened, revealing a creature more terrifying than any hologram. A living apex predator, its scales glinting like armor, claws sharp enough to pierce starship hulls, and eyes that glowed with intelligence. The other recruits froze in awe and fear. Many had been warned that this creature had already defeated multiple teams. Arya stepped forward, heart racing but mind clear. She studied it carefully, noting every flick of its tail, every flex of its limbs. The predator roared, shaking the ground, and charged at the first alien to move. Chaos erupted. The humans in the Academy were few, but Arya's calmness set her apart. She didn't attack. She didn't run. She moved with measured steps, holding her gaze, and slowly reached out a hand. The predator paused, tilting its head, studying her. For the first time, it hesitated. Arya knelt slightly, showing no threat, no fear. The room held its breath as the apex predator's glowing eyes met hers. Then, almost imperceptibly, it stepped back. A small victory, but a victory nonetheless. The alien recruits whispered among themselves, astonished. Could a human really connect with such a beast? Commander Ral's voice broke the silence. Observation, patience, and understanding. These are just as important as strength. Lieutenant Kane demonstrates the qualities of a leader in ways others have overlooked. Arya didn't celebrate. She knew this was only the first step. There would be more predators, more tests, and more challenges. But she also knew something powerful. The galaxy had underestimated humans, and she was about to prove that they were wrong. As the sun set over the Academy, casting long shadows across the training grounds, Arya stood alone for a moment, reflecting on her journey. She was small, fragile by many standards, and yet she felt unstoppable. Strength came in many forms. She had her mind, her courage, and soon she would have allies that no one else could command. The stage was set. The human recruit who had been laughed at was ready to change the perception of humanity forever. The arena doors opened with a low, grinding roar. Beyond them lay a massive enclosure, walls stretching high into the sky, reinforced with energy fields that pulsed with faint blue light. Inside, the ground was uneven, filled with rocks, crevices, and thick vegetation designed to replicate a wild, untamed planet. At the center of it all stood the apex predator. Its scales shimmered in dark hues, eyes glowing like molten amber. Its claws dug into the earth as it shifted its weight, muscles coiling like springs. Every recruit knew the stories. The predator had bested every team assigned to it, breaking through weapons, evading traps, and dominating the strongest fighters. Aria Kane stepped forward. Her peers fell back, keeping a wary distance. Xylar whispered to Kethar, "She'll die in seconds. No human has survived this beast." Aria ignored the whispers. She studied the predator carefully. Unlike the other recruits, she did not see only a terrifying monster. She saw movement, pattern, intelligence. Every twitch of its tail, every pivot of its massive feet spoke volumes. This creature was clever but not invincible. The instructors signaled the start. The predator let out a deafening roar and lunged at the first alien recruit. Chaos erupted immediately. Xylar tried to fight with all four arms, swinging a heavy blade, but the predator sidestepped, its claws flashing, and sent him sprawling into a wall. Screams and shouts filled the arena. Aria remained calm. She knelt low, keeping her gaze steady and her movements slow. She did not attack. She did not provoke. Instead, she observed every strike, every dodge, every pattern the predator followed. She noticed something the others did not. The predator hesitated for just a moment before each lunge, almost as if it was testing its opponents, learning their weaknesses. She also saw subtle signs of curiosity, tiny shifts in the ears, the tilt of its head, the flick of its tongue. This was not just a killing machine. It was intelligent. Aria took a deep breath and stepped forward. She moved slowly, mirroring the predator's movements. When it crouched, she crouched. When it paused, she paused. When it hissed, she hissed back, softly, not to threaten, but to communicate. The predator froze, its glowing eyes locked on hers. It sniffed the air, testing her presence. The other recruits gasped. None of them had dared to approach it without weapons. Minutes passed. The predator circled her, claws scraping against the rock, teeth glinting in the artificial sunlight. Yet it did not attack. Aria remained still, calm and confident. Slowly she extended a hand, palm open. The arena held its breath. The predator leaned in, sniffing her hand. Its head tilted, eyes narrowing with curiosity. Then, unexpectedly, it lowered itself slightly. A small bow, a gesture no one had seen it make before. The instructors exchanged shocked glances. Commander Rao stepped forward, his antennae twitching. "Remarkable," he muttered. "The human shows patience and understanding, qualities no other recruit has demonstrated." Aria did not smile. She knew this was only the beginning. The predator was intelligent, but it was also proud and powerful. She needed to earn its trust, not just its submission. Over the next few days, Aria returned to the arena repeatedly. Each session, she approached the predator with care, studying its reactions, learning its patterns, and slowly building a connection. She brought it food, but more importantly, she spent time observing it, understanding its behavior. The alien recruits continued to mock her at first. Kethar snorted. "She's wasting her time. No human can tame that thing. It will crush her eventually." Xylar laughed, shaking his head. "Patience won't save her. Only strength matters here." Aria ignored them. She knew that brute strength was not the only measure of success. Humans had other weapons: intuition, empathy, and adaptability. During one session, the Predator lunged unexpectedly. Many recruits would have panicked, but Arya reacted instinctively. She rolled to the side, narrowly avoiding the swipe of its claws. Then she froze, letting the Predator calm down, showing it she posed no threat. Slowly, she rose, maintaining eye contact. The Predator tilted its head, almost in recognition. By the end of the week, something remarkable had happened. The Predator no longer saw her as prey. It began to respond to her commands, not verbal ones, but gestures and subtle signals. When she held out her hand, it approached. When she crouched, it crouched. It followed her across the arena, and for the first time it obeyed her direction. The other recruits watched in disbelief. Xylar whispered, "Impossible. How did she do that?" Kethar's eyes were wide with shock. "She's controlling it?" Commander Ral nodded. "Not controlling. Bonding. That is a crucial distinction. She has earned the Predator's respect, not forced obedience. That is leadership." The final test of the Predator Challenge came on the 7th day. Arya was tasked to guide the apex predator through a complex obstacle course designed to simulate a hostile planet. The course included treacherous cliffs, sudden drops, and moving platforms. Most recruits had failed this part, losing control of their creatures or being thrown aside by the predator. Arya approached the course slowly, observing the terrain and the predator's reactions. She gave it a subtle gesture, and it moved with her step by step, leap by leap. When a falling rock threatened to hit them, she signaled a detour, and the predator followed instantly. Together, they navigated every obstacle with precision and grace. By the time they reached the end, the instructors were silent, amazed at the harmony between human and beast. "Lieutenant Kane," Commander Ral said, his voice carrying over the arena, "you have achieved what no other recruit has. You have earned the trust of the apex predator. You have proven that intelligence, patience, and observation are as powerful as any weapon." The alien recruits were stunned. Even Xylar and Kethar, who had mocked her relentlessly, could no longer hide their awe. Arya had done what they believed impossible, but Arya did not feel triumphant. She knew the Predator's loyalty had limits, and there would be far greater challenges ahead. This was only the first step. She had shown the galaxy that humans were capable of earning respect, not through sheer strength, but through understanding, courage, and determination. As the arena emptied and the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the ground, Arya knelt beside the apex predator. It nuzzled her hand gently, a sign of trust and partnership. For the first time, she felt a connection stronger than fear, stronger than intimidation, an alliance that could change everything. In the quiet of the arena, Arya made a silent promise. She would continue to grow, continue to lead, and continue to prove that humans, though underestimated, could achieve the extraordinary. The other recruits may have laughed at her arrival, but by the end of the week they could no longer deny it. The human recruit had tamed the apex predator, and in doing so had shown a new path to strength that no one had considered. Tomorrow, the real challenges would begin. The galaxy was vast, filled with dangers far beyond the Academy. But Arya Kane had already proven one thing. Even the fiercest creature could recognize a leader in the human who approached it with respect, intelligence, and courage. And the universe would never underestimate humans again. The following week, Arya Kane's life at the UGDF Academy changed dramatically. Word of her success with the apex predator had spread across the Academy like wildfire. Recruits who once mocked her now whispered in awe. Instructors who had doubted her capabilities now watched her every move with new respect. Arya, however, remained focused. She had not come here to earn praise. She had come to survive, to grow, and to prove that humans were capable of leading in ways no one expected. Her next challenge was different. She was assigned to an elite task force, a mixed-species team that combined the strongest recruits in strategy, combat, and intelligence. This team would conduct missions across hostile planets, testing their skills and their ability to work together. Aria's teammates were intimidating. Xylar, now quieter but still imposing, towered over her with 4 muscular arms. Kethar, the reptilian warrior, had a cold, calculating gaze that made others uneasy. And then there were others. A winged species from the planet Aerith, capable of flight and sharp aerial strikes, and a silicon-based creature whose stone-like skin could resist almost any attack. When Aria joined the team, tension was obvious. Many of the aliens were uncomfortable taking orders from a human. They had fought beside humans before, but never under one's command. And now, a recruit smaller than most of them, who had once struggled in physical training, was expected to lead them. The first mission briefing came from Commander Ral. The team's objective was to rescue a group of stranded scientists on a remote planet overrun by rogue machines. The planet, Varkon 5, was dangerous. The machines were not only armed, but adaptive, learning from every attack and constantly altering their strategies. "This mission is high risk," Commander Ral said. "Your success depends on teamwork, strategy, and leadership. Lieutenant Kane will lead this operation. Follow her orders and trust in her judgment." Some of the aliens exchanged skeptical glances. Xylar muttered under his breath, "Trust her? She's a human. What does she know about commanding a team in real combat?" Aria met his gaze without flinching. "Strength alone does not win battles," she said calmly. "We need to think, adapt, and work together. That's how we'll succeed." The team departed in a sleek transport shuttle, descending through Varkon 5's atmosphere as storms raged across the planet. Lightning illuminated jagged mountains, and rivers of molten rock cut through barren plains. The machines below were relentless, scanning for any signs of life. Once on the ground, Aria immediately assessed the situation. The scientists' last known location was in a canyon, surrounded by automated defense systems. The team split into squads, but Aria insisted on maintaining visual contact with all members, moving with the apex predator by her side. The predator was invaluable. Its instincts and strength allowed it to scout ahead, neutralize threats quietly, and protect the team from sudden attacks. The alien recruits who once doubted her leadership watched in awe as Aria coordinated movements, guided the predator, and issued commands with precision. When a group of machines ambushed the team near a rocky ridge, the aliens reacted instinctively, charging forward. Aria held up her hand, signaling them to stop. "Don't rush in," she commanded. "Let them make the first move. Observe, then strike strategically." The machines fired energy blasts, but the team was prepared. Aria had positioned them so the attackers were trapped between natural barriers. The predator leaped from behind cover, disabling a group of machines with precise strikes, while Aria guided the team to flank the others. By the time the attack ended, the rogue machines lay disabled or destroyed. The alien recruits stared at her, realizing that the human had anticipated the ambush and turned it to their advantage. "Your strategy, it saved us," Kethar admitted quietly, his tone reluctant but sincere. Aria nodded. "We all have strengths. The key is to combine them. Strength alone isn't enough. Intelligence, timing, and cooperation make a difference." As the team moved deeper into the canyon, obstacles became more dangerous. Collapsing cliffs, unstable terrain, and hidden machine traps required careful navigation. Aria's calm, analytical approach allowed them to move efficiently. While others relied on brute force or instinct, she used observation and patience to find the safest paths. When they finally reached the scientists, they found them trapped inside a crumbling research station. Machines had already breached parts of the facility. The team worked together under Aria's direction. She coordinated the Predator to clear debris and guard the exit, while the aliens secured the area and led the scientists to safety. During the escape, a massive machine attempted to block their path. Xylar, despite his strength, could not push it aside alone. Arya quickly analyzed the terrain and issued precise commands, directing the team to use a nearby incline to topple the machine with minimal effort. The plan worked perfectly. By the time they returned to the shuttle, the team was exhausted but victorious. Commander Rao's communication came through. "Excellent work, Lieutenant Kane. You have led this team with skill, courage, and intelligence. Your performance sets a new standard for human recruits." The alien recruits, including Xylar and Kethar, could no longer deny it. They had followed a human into a dangerous situation and survived because of her decisions. Respect replaced doubt in their eyes. Later, as the team rested on the shuttle, the apex predator curled around Arya's feet, protective and loyal. It had become more than a companion. It was a symbol of her leadership. The aliens had seen firsthand that humans were capable of bonding with even the fiercest creatures, turning strength into an asset rather than relying solely on their own power. Arya reflected quietly. This mission had been more than a test of survival. It had been a lesson for her peers. Humans could think, adapt, and inspire loyalty, even from creatures others deemed uncontrollable. She had shown that leadership was not measured by size or power, but by insight, courage, and trust. The shuttle touched down at the UGDF Academy, and the team disembarked amid cheers from instructors and fellow recruits. Arya did not celebrate loudly. She simply nodded to her team, acknowledging their efforts as well. Leadership, she knew, was not about glory. It was about bringing out the best in others. Xylar approached her quietly. I underestimated you," he admitted, almost reluctantly. "I thought strength was everything. I see now that there's more to it." Kethar nodded in agreement. "Humans are not as weak as we thought. You proved that today." Arya smiled faintly. "It's not about being the strongest. It's about knowing how to use what you have and helping others do the same." The apex predator let out a low rumble, almost in agreement, as it nuzzled her shoulder. The team laughed softly. Even the aliens who had once mocked her could not resist a smile. The bond between human and predator was undeniable, and it inspired the entire team. That evening, as Arya walked through the academy grounds, she noticed other recruits watching her with newfound respect. Some even approached her for advice. The whispers of doubt had been replaced by admiration, curiosity, and a desire to learn from the human who had tamed an apex predator and led a team through a dangerous mission. Arya knew there were greater challenges ahead. The galaxy was vast, filled with threats beyond their imagination. But she also knew something powerful. Humans were underestimated for a reason, and that underestimation was their greatest advantage. She looked at the horizon, where stars glimmered in endless patterns. Someday, she would face foes even stronger than machines or predators. But for now, she had proven one undeniable truth. Even the smallest human, with courage, intelligence, and determination, could rise through the ranks and lead where others could not. The galaxy had seen the first real proof. Humans were not weak. They were capable of greatness, and Lieutenant Arya Kane had only just begun to show the universe what humanity could do. The UGDF Command Center was alive with tension. Screens displayed holographic maps of multiple star systems, blinking red to indicate danger zones. Commander Rao stood at the front, his antennae twitching nervously as he briefed the elite teams. "An interstellar warlord named Varkon 9 has seized control of a key sector," he said. "He has advanced weaponry, fleets of automated drones, and strong defenses. This sector is vital for the stability of the galaxy. Your task is to stop him before he expands his control further." Arya Kane listened carefully. Her team, including Xylar Kethar and the other recruits, exchanged tense glances. This mission was unlike anything they had faced before. It required strategy, coordination, and bravery beyond anything tested at the Academy. "Lieutenant Kane," Commander Ral said, "you will lead the strike team. Your training, leadership, and judgment will be critical." Some of the aliens hesitated, unsure about following a human into what could easily be a deadly battle. Arya felt the weight of responsibility but did not let it show. She turned to her team, meeting each of their eyes. "This mission is dangerous," she said calmly. "We will face enemies stronger than any we have trained against. But we have preparation, strategy, and teamwork. Trust in each other and trust in the plan. That is how we survive and succeed." The team boarded their assault vessel, engines humming as it launched from the Academy. As they approached the Warlord's stronghold, the scale of the challenge became clear. Massive energy turrets lined the orbital defenses, and fleets of drones patrolled every path. One wrong move could trigger an ambush, or worse. Arya took a deep breath. "First, we analyzed the pattern of their defenses," she said. Using the ship's sensors, she identified gaps in patrols and blind spots in turret coverage. The team nodded, following her guidance. The Predator, now loyal and attuned to her commands, sat quietly beside her, scanning for threats. When they landed, the ground trembled under the Warlord's heavy machines. Drones swarmed immediately, firing energy beams that cut through the air. The alien recruits reacted instinctively, but Arya quickly adjusted their positions. "Hold your ground!" she shouted. "Use the terrain! Don't charge blindly!" The Predator leapt forward, its powerful claws disabling several drones before they could target the team. Its agility and instincts gave the humans and aliens a crucial advantage. Xylar and Kethar followed Arya's precise directions, flanking enemies while avoiding unnecessary risks. Despite the chaos, Arya remained calm. She observed enemy patterns, identified weaknesses, and issued clear commands. The Warlord's forces were powerful, but their overconfidence made them predictable. Arya exploited this with careful maneuvers and synchronized attacks. Hours passed as the team fought their way deeper into the stronghold. At one point, a massive automated sentinel blocked the corridor ahead. Xylar struggled against its sheer strength, while Kethar attempted a direct attack that failed. "Step back," Arya ordered. "Observe its movement. Its attacks are slow in certain sequences. Timing is everything." She signaled the Predator. In perfect coordination, it dodged the Sentinel's swings, distracting it long enough for the team to strike at its weak points. The Sentinel toppled with a deafening crash, and the path forward was clear. The team pressed on, reaching the heart of the Warlord's command center. Inside, Varkon 9 awaited, a towering figure clad in advanced armor, wielding a weapon that could obliterate anything in seconds. He laughed at the small human standing before him. "Pathetic," he sneered. "You think you can stop me?" Arya did not respond with anger. Instead, she studied the Warlord carefully, noting the patterns of his attacks and movements. She saw an opportunity in his arrogance. He underestimated humans, just as he underestimated her team. "Team, stay alert," she commanded. "Follow my lead. We move together. We strike together. And we survive together." The battle was fierce. Energy blasts tore through walls, machines clashed with the Predator, and the team coordinated every movement flawlessly under Arya's guidance. At one critical moment, Varkon 9 attempted a powerful strike aimed directly at the Predator. "Watch out!" Arya yelled. The Predator reacted instantly, leaping to shield her while simultaneously counterattacking. Xylar and Kethar moved in perfect harmony, taking advantage of the distraction to disable the Warlord's weapons. Arya saw an opening. She signaled the team to converge, and together they overwhelmed Varkon 9. The Predator delivered the final decisive blow, not out of mindless violence, but as a trusted ally responding to Arya's command. When the dust settled, The command center was quiet except for the labored breathing of the team. Varkon 9 was defeated, his forces scattered, and the sector secured. The alien recruits stared at Arya in awe. She had led them through a battle stronger than anything they had imagined, relying not on brute strength alone, but on intelligence, strategy, and trust. "Lieutenant Kane," Commander Ral said over comms, "your leadership has saved countless lives today. You have shown that humans are capable of achieving what others might believe impossible. You have earned the respect of every species here." Xylar, who had once mocked her, approached quietly. I understand now," he said. "Strength alone is not everything. You led us with skill and courage. I respect you." Cathar nodded, his usual cold expression softened. "Humans can teach more than I realized. Your leadership saved us today. I will follow you again, no question." Arya looked at her team and the Predator at her side. They had faced the ultimate test and emerged victorious. The Predator's loyalty had been unwavering, responding perfectly to her commands and instincts. The aliens who had doubted her had witnessed firsthand the truth. Humans could lead, inspire, and achieve what others thought impossible. As they returned to the shuttle, Arya took a quiet moment to reflect. This mission was more than a victory in combat. It was proof that determination, intelligence, and empathy were powerful weapons in their own right. Humans might be small and underestimated, but they could influence events and lead even the strongest allies. The galaxy had seen it now. Lieutenant Arya Kane, the human recruit who had once been laughed at, had commanded an apex predator, led a mixed-species team, and defeated one of the most dangerous warlords in the sector. She had proven that humans were not weak. They were capable of greatness beyond expectation. As the shuttle lifted off, Arya looked at the stars, feeling a sense of quiet pride. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but she was ready. She had the Predator, her team, and her own resolve. Nothing could stop a human determined to rise above expectation. For the first time, the whispers of doubt were gone. The galaxy now knew one undeniable truth: underestimate humans at your peril. The victory over Varkon 9 had cemented Arya Kane's reputation throughout the United Galactic Defense Forces. Yet she did not dwell on fame or recognition. She knew the galaxy was vast, unpredictable, and full of threats greater than even the warlord they had just defeated. The true challenge lay in proving that humans were not only capable leaders, but also forces that could inspire loyalty and courage across species. The Academy celebrated the team's success with an official ceremony. Recruits, instructors, and commanders from multiple star systems gathered to witness the recognition of heroism. Commander Ral stepped forward, his antennae twitching proudly. "Today, we honor Lieutenant Arya Kane," he said, his voice carrying over the assembled crowd. "Through courage, intelligence, and determination, she has shown that strength is not measured by size or power alone. Humanity has proven itself capable of leadership that even the fiercest allies respect." The crowd erupted in applause. Xylar, Cathar, and the rest of her team stood beside her, their faces showing admiration and newfound respect. Even the apex predator, her loyal companion through every challenge, remained close, growling softly as if acknowledging the recognition. Arya stepped forward to accept the honor, her mind calm and focused. She knew that true leadership was not about recognition. It was about responsibility. She looked at her team and the Predator and spoke quietly, but with conviction. "We survived because we trusted each other," she said. "We succeeded because we combined our strengths, respected each other's abilities, and never underestimated anyone. This is what humanity brings to the galaxy. Not just strength, but intelligence, cooperation, and courage." The crowd listened intently. Her words resonated not just with humans, but with aliens of all species. They saw a new example of what was possible when underestimated beings were given the chance to lead. After the ceremony, Arya returned to the Academy grounds with her team. Xylar approached her cautiously. "I have to admit," he said, "I never thought a human could lead a team like that, or bond with the Predator the way you did. You've changed how I see your species." Cathar nodded in agreement. "Humans may appear weak, but you've shown that intelligence, observation, and courage are just as powerful. I am proud to serve under your command." Arya smiled faintly. "It's not about proving humans are strong," she said. "It's about showing that everyone has strengths worth respecting. That's how leaders are made, by recognizing potential and using it wisely." The apex predator, sensing the calm and pride in her voice, nudged her gently. It had become more than an ally. It was a symbol of trust, respect, and the bond between human and beast. Other recruits stopped to watch the creature and Arya together, amazed that such a powerful predator could follow the commands of a human without hesitation. In the weeks that followed, Arya's story spread across the galaxy. News of the human who had tamed an apex predator, led a diverse team, and defeated one of the most dangerous warlords inspired countless beings. Many aliens began to reassess their assumptions about humans. What they had once considered fragile and weak was now seen as adaptable, intelligent, and capable of extraordinary leadership. Arya continued to train and lead, taking on new missions that tested every skill she possessed. She led rescue operations on hostile planets, coordinated defenses against pirate fleets, and even mediated disputes between warring species. Her approach was always the same: careful observation, thoughtful strategy, and trust in her team's abilities. One mission, in particular, became legendary. A planet on the edge of known space was threatened by a massive natural disaster, a series of violent storms and earthquakes that could wipe out entire colonies. Other species had attempted to stabilize the planet and failed. Arya, with her team and the apex predator, devised a strategy that combined technology, timing, and courage. They moved with precision, evacuating colonists and neutralizing hazards with minimal damage. The galaxy watched in awe as a human led a rescue that others had deemed impossible. Through every challenge, Arya demonstrated what humans could do when underestimated. She did not rely on raw strength. She relied on intelligence, adaptability, and empathy. She showed that humans could earn loyalty, command respect, and inspire courage, even from beings stronger, faster, or more physically capable than themselves. Back at the Academy, Arya's team had grown closer than ever. Xylar and Cathar, once skeptical and mocking, were now her closest allies. Other recruits sought her guidance, eager to learn the strategies that had made humans capable of extraordinary achievements. The apex predator remained by her side, its loyalty unwavering, a living testament to the bond that humans could forge, even with the most formidable of creatures. One evening, as Arya sat quietly on the observation deck of the Academy, looking out at the stars, she reflected on her journey. She had arrived as a human recruit, laughed at and underestimated by every species around her. She had faced challenges that seemed impossible, tamed a predator that others feared, and led a team through battles that would be remembered for generations. And yet she knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was full of unknown threats, uncharted planets, and conflicts waiting to unfold. But Arya was ready. She had proven that humans could rise to the occasion, inspire loyalty, and achieve greatness. The stars shimmered above her, endless and full of possibility. Somewhere out there, new challenges awaited, perhaps even greater than any she had faced. But with her mind, her team, and the apex predator by her side, she knew humanity could meet them. A soft rumble drew her attention. The apex predator stepped closer, brushing against her arm. She smiled, knowing it was not just a companion, it was a partner, a friend, and a symbol of the trust humans could inspire. Arya stood, looking at the galaxy with quiet determination. The whispers of doubt, the mocking laughter, the underestimation, none of it mattered now. She had shown what humans were capable of. She had led where others could not. She had tamed the untamable. And the universe had taken notice. In the days that followed, humans began to earn new respect across the UGDF. Colonies invited them to lead, species sought their counsel, and allies from other systems began to recognize the value of human ingenuity and leadership. Arya Kane became a symbol, not just of human capability, but of the power of courage, intelligence, and empathy in a galaxy that had once doubted her. The Academy stood as a testament to what she had achieved, and the apex predator remained a living reminder of the bonds humans could form with even the strongest forces in existence. Arya's journey had begun as a small human recruit, laughed at by everyone, but it had become a story of triumph that inspired generations. As she looked out across the Academy grounds, seeing new recruits arriving, some small, some underestimated, some unsure, Arya smiled. She knew the cycle would continue, and she knew that one day another human would rise, face the impossible, and show the galaxy once again the remarkable strength of humanity. For now, Arya Kane stood as proof that even the smallest, seemingly weakest human could command respect, lead the fiercest allies, and triumph where others had failed. And as long as humans continued to believe in themselves, the galaxy would never again underestimate them. The stars above seemed to shine a little brighter, as if acknowledging the courage and determination of one human who refused to be limited by what others thought possible. And in that light, humanity's future looked limitless.